Okay.
There he is. Hello, Craig.
Greg.
Okay. Yeah, so if anybody took notes, can you add those to the session notes channel? Assuming I made that public. I did.
Okay.
And then anybody who has them, even if it's just like a photo or something, you guys mark down an experience point for that. I know there's not like a great place for college style experience on your sheets.
So mine is a report in character, more or less. Should I still have that posted?
Yeah, go for it. Is it going to be like a copy and paste thing or a document?
I was just gonna send for an easy, just to make it easy, just send a link over.
How many experience points do we get?
It's 1 for notes, and then 1 per failed roll. So that happens the rest in play. Also, if people ever want to go like above and beyond and do, I don't know, there's a variety of things that you could do, but something else that contributes to the story, but that you're obviously like taking your own time to do it, be that making a piece of art or like a really good organized record of things that have happened or a map or anything like that. Those I also give you extra experience points for. But that's the kind of thing that like you would want to be doing anyway, and then I just give it to you as thank you. I'm not trying to bribe people, if that makes sense.
And then, what was the experience we needed to hit for a level?
It's 10 per level,
10.
Unless
Okay.
that turns out to be wildly off in either direction.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so both of you can mark that. Does Canyon happen to have anything?
Nope, not really.
Okay, that is okay. With that done then, did people have anything you want to note before we really start?
Nope.
I don't think
Okay.
so.
Cool. Well, it's been a few weeks. Does anybody want to do a recap from your perspective of what you remember of last time?
People threw food at me, but it was a compliment.
This is true.
So, recap-wise, we essentially came to a village that is not named, as they tend to want to be a bit more isolated. They have some sort of monster problem. They don't have much information on the specifics on the monster. And yeah, we hung out in a tavern, or their version of a social gathering space.
Yeah, that is right. Anything else you want to know?
Oh, the town had an affinity for magic, specifically familiars.
Make this pencil disappear.
I think that's more or less the gist that I've got.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, you talked to the people in charge of it who are just about to send you on your first outing, I guess, to go slay a monster. Although one of them did note that if you bring it back alive, she'll give you extra rewards for it. That is totally
Yeah.
optional. And yeah, I mean, you're not super well equipped, at least in terms of what they know. But they think, well, as long as you guys think that you're competent monster hunters, then they have faith in you. Yeah. So do you want to just start as you're kind of waking up the following dawn and meeting them at basically the front of the house to go set off, or did anybody have a specific thing they want to do before that?
I'm good with just meeting at the place.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you guys are up at the crack of dawn, and it's very early and rather cold. Everything's pretty quiet, although there is some kind of roostery thing crowing in the background. And the two people who live at this house where you stayed for the night, one of them looks not exactly chipper, but like, okay, you're awake, and the other one is actually rather annoyed. And it's the opposite of what you would think based on what you learned of them last time. So it's actually Broccoli who's hates being awake at this time. She's doing her best to hide it, but it's like a deception roll of like 4, so not great. And it's actually Nope who's like, all right, you guys made it up. That's a good sign. You guys ready to go?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Well, other than being woken so early, I'm ready to hit the road.
Glad to hear it. That is the exact spirit that we want. I sincerely hope that you don't die trying to kill whatever this thing is. You're just going to be heading straight that way. And they point like west, slightly north, which it seems to be in an area that runs like parallel to this really big road that you came in on when you came here. But it's a decent distance away from it. And yeah, Nope's just like, yeah, just walk straight that way. You can take the road and turn left, or you can just go straight through. It's kind of like a meadowy field thing. It's obviously a little bit less safe than anything remotely civilized, but it's pretty open, so you're not going to get snuck up on. Right? Is that everything? Broccoli hands you, she musters up the best smile that she can and hands you like a pack with a couple extra pieces of food, and some like writing supplies just in case you don't already have it. She says, sorry that we don't really have a good way to make you send fast messages. We can deal with that when you're back. But just good luck. Yep. All right. You know the thing. Go out there. Go get them, tigers. I'm gonna go back to bed.
All right.
Sleep well.
You do that.
Right. So you guys set out, or does anybody have plans?
I don't have any plans.
Okay.
Probably just set out then.
I mean,
Um.
shouldn't we like try to come up with a plan? I mean, we're gonna go fight these monsters that we have almost no knowledge of, and
Well, the first plan would probably be to gather knowledge, which requires us to at least find a general location and start tracking them. So, with so little information, I don't think there's much of a plan to be made.
Yeah, we'll probably just want to go to wherever we find this creature and look for clues as to what it might be.
Okay, so it sounds like some reconnaissance, right?
That's what I would do.
Okay. And would you prefer to take the road or the more direct route?
I'll take the high road and you'll take the road. I'll be in wherever we're going before ye.
That was something.
And that something was
Well,
amazing.
Sure.
the road would leave us open, but we could travel better on it. The forest would keep us sealed from whatever is out there. So if it's at least sight-based. So what's
Well.
what is?
Oh, right. Sorry. Someone actually, while you guys are talking, Nope comes back out running. He's like, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. Okay, so this is kind of, I mean, not that we don't trust you, but it's just kind of how things work with like monster killing contracts. Bring back like a paw or an ear or whatever this thing has, something that's just easy to prove that you killed it. All right? Cool. All right.
Understandable.
and zips back inside, and you guys can resume your conversation.
Anyway, I think maybe we should take the road.
I'm gonna back up Zakaya on this, given his prior knowledge and experience on the safest way to travel.
Then the road it is.
All right, let's head out.
Cool.
folks.
So taking the road, that's probably going to take you 1 to 2 hours longer than like the more direct thing would have to get there. However, once you're on there, it's pretty smooth walking. And it's early enough in the day that nobody's on there yet, at least until you're probably, you'd guess about halfway to your destination when you see some person with this ginormous like trundling wagon thing that almost is like waddling. It's so overburdened with just a whole bunch of stuff that you can't see so much as hear, like all kinds of jingles and clacks and like clocky noises and that kind of thing. And the person is actually like waving at you from like an awkwardly far away distance. And you'd almost think that it was like waving at another person. You know, those moments when you're like, is that someone I know? And you wave back, and then you really find out that no, they were waving at somebody totally else. But there's nobody else on the road. So you got to assume they're trying to hail you.
Do you guys think that? I mean,
Well,
my
if they
experience
want,
on roads in a forest is not the greatest. So,
We're here to hunt monsters. Hunt
well,
monsters.
he may have information. Maybe that's why he's waving us down, is he may see our garb and assume us as hunters.
or maybe he needs help.
If you guys
Well,
want to
let's just go
help this
talk to him.
guy, if you guys want to help this
If
guy,
he has valuable information for the about the monster, he could be useful.
you guys do what you want. I don't care.
Well, perhaps we should go talk to him then.
All right.
Zakaya, will you watch our backs?
Sure, fine.
Cool. So you guys like going to meet this person?
Yes.
Great. Yeah. He's already halfway caught up to you anyway. And as you get close enough, you realize that inexplicably this is just a bear, just a bipedal bear. And he is carrying this wagon is obviously one of those things that like traveling merchants bring along. And it's just absolutely full of all kinds of things that are sort of crammed together with no rhyme or reason. And he's like, "Hello, you're up early. What you doing here?"
Hunting monsters.
"Oh, you're adventurous." And he has this like knowing smile. It's like, is any specific monsters, or you just kind of the oily murder hobo catches the worm, the dragon kind?
Don't know yet. Trying to figure out what it is. Could be you.
Well,
Who knows?
good luck. I haven't seen anything like on my way, although I mean I've just been passing through. I'm actually kind of in a bit of a hurry, but I am one of those people who sells things, so I guess I should like offer you my wares or something if you want, unless you're in a hurry too.
People? You look more like a bear.
I am a bear, but I am also a Python. Both things can be true. My name's Picey. He sticks his paw out to the nearest person.
I shake his paw. Nice to meet you. I am Aislinn.
Nice to meet you too, Aislinn. So, do you guys want to take a look at my stuff or nah? Either way, I gotta get going pretty quick.
Yeah, I think we'll wait. We're in a hurry as well, so maybe if we cross paths again.
All right. I mean, I'll probably be back here sooner or later, so I'll keep half an eye out for you. Hopefully, you haven't lost an eye by then. Oh boy, I have some stories myself, but no time. All right. Good luck, you guys. Safe
Well,
travel.
nice to meet you, Percy. Have a great day.
Bye. He's already like going past you, and somehow, even though his lumbering gait like would be the kind of thing you expect to be slow, he's already like a quarter mile away from you, like behind you. So he's kind of booking it. Yeah, and there's nobody else on the road though for like the rest of the journey. Does everybody keep to the road, or are you either looking for things off of it or going off of it for any reason? I mean,
I'm
maybe
gonna
potty
be
breaks,
just
but
like
besides that.
I'm gonna be unusually quiet, kind of glancing around us and like watching the trees and maybe jumping at snapping sticks.
Okay. Kind of scared, I guess? Or wary?
Yeah, wary, twitchy.
That's
What was the
valid.
friendly merchant's name?
His name's Percy, or as he says, Picey.
Posse.
I bet he pronounces it
P-U-R-S-E?
Corsi.
Percy.
P-E-R-C-Y. Alright. And I'll just be kind of glancing through the woods, kind of pretty much sweeping from left to right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, short of like specific investigation checks, you actually don't see much of note, except for the occasional activity of territorial animals in the forest over there. And it's really the only kind of stuff that you could see from pretty far away. So it's like, okay, that tree definitely has some like gouging in its bark. And maybe the scent of blood, if you're particularly attuned to those kind of smells. Wafting from somewhere nearby vaguely, but nothing too interesting. And it's getting pretty close to noon, right? So it's heating up. Definitely the cold has long since gone and been replaced with an uncomfortable heat. Especially as you guys, I assume, are walking around in armor. Like it is not fun. If anybody's ever been in like a play with those really bright lights on you, it's kind of like that.
Orchestra for the win.
Oh, yay. That's always fun. Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely, obviously, right now it's too late in the day for you to do sneaky sneak stuff on whatever this monster is. But you know that you're in the general vicinity according to your terribly drawn map, and that this is the kind of place that you're likely to find the monster unless it has moved away, which is unlikely due to that activity that you saw. So, do you guys want to start looking directly for it now, or do you want to wait until night and then do some recon?
I want to stake it out.
So,
All right, so we're waiting it out
essentially,
then?
If my
I think it would
companions
be.
agree.
I will.
Perhaps we should see if there's any tracks in the area that could help us identify the creature.
Tracks, you said? CKS?
Yes, tracks. Leftover
Yeah, you could absolutely start
kill
tracking.
to at least understand what we may potentially be running into and
Yeah,
either
you could
hunting it
presume that
down
you
or
could
then
find some
staking out.
pretty. Right, sorry. You could presume that you could find some pretty recent tracks, though nothing within the last few hours since this guy is crepuscular, active at dawn and dusk.
Okay.
So you would presume that it's asleep or like napping right now. Yeah.
So
Okay.
could
So
I
that's what
roll like an
Lishram is doing.
Arcana
Is
check?
everybody else? Sorry, what?
Yeah. Could I roll like an Arcana check to see if the tracks would match any sort of magical creature? Or
So this one I'd actually say
Yeah.
is going to be some nature-related thing.
So more of a nature thing.
Yeah, and simply because the tracks that you do find are Kind of reptilian in nature,
Oh,
but that's all
So
that you could
nothing-
tell without making a specific check.
all
Can
right.
I roll an insight check?
Um, okay, that's interesting because insight is more about like social situations, telling what a person's intentions are or that kind of thing. It's kind of the
What a-
like inverse of deception almost.
What about a nature check?
A nature check would work. Yeah, I'd
Oh.
take nature, I'd take even like animal handling, which is kind of a stretch, but it works.
I have both.
Nice. Yeah, do you guys want to roll checks in the most, what you think is the most relevant skill for this thing?
I'll do a nature check then, even though I've got a measly one.
Oh no.
And that's a total of 7.
Wow.
Okay,
So as expected from someone who doesn't get out much.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're actually kind of maybe not entirely overwhelmed, but you certainly don't feel in your element above ground in this new place that is very much different from your typical environment. Anybody else rolling?
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay.
Hey, look at that.
Wait, so who rolled what?
Listrom got a
Uh-huh.
7 modified.
Wait, what did you roll?
Nature.
You rolled nature?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna roll perception,
Okay.
which was a 13 plus my modifier of 1, so 14.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. And due to the nature of perception, so that's more of like passively seeing things. So for your high roll in that specific skill, what you're seeing is more like where the tracks are, the kind of activity that they've made. And it seems like this creature, whatever it is, it does a little bit of patrolling. You've seen like a few tracks that are pretty stale. And several sets that of the nature that would indicate it's a mainly an ambush predator, but definitely a meat eater. And so it has a habit of stalking and maybe pouncing, maybe chasing down, maybe something. But there's also enough blood around a few of the tracks that it's clearly eating meat about, you would guess, once or twice a day.
Hmm.
And they appear to be decently big animals. Like there's definitely it's like that came from a deer. That came from some kind of other predator, maybe a fox or something like that, and several smaller animals, but mostly ones that are big enough to pay attention to.
And you said these tracks were kind of stale?
Some of them. So like a high enough proportion of them are stale that you can say, okay, this happened over several days. Which also tells you that it hasn't been raining much for like the last week. And that this creature, whatever it is alone enough in the forest that its tracks aren't getting covered up by other things, especially its own like continued activity.
Hmm. Let's follow the tracks.
Okay. Yeah, you can definitely do that. You find what seems to be a reasonably recent set of tracks, and you follow those. Okay, so after several minutes, it becomes clear that this is a slightly winding thing. Maybe it's looking around for something. And that it's going to go deeper into the forest, which is rather dark, and you can't really tell what's going on there, except that it's very, very quiet right now. Do you want to continue into the forest directly, or do you have another thing in mind?
I want to see, using my cat-like eyes with my night vision, if I can see anything in the forest that looks interesting.
Okay. Yeah, roll me, I guess, perception.
Hiya! That was 14 plus 1, so 15.
Okay. So let's see. You note actually a whole bunch of like broken off branches and like fairly large ones too. Enough that though the forest is really dark for the most part, there are a few little gaps of light that kind of stream through the canopies of the trees. And they're well, okay, so because your roll is high enough, you think that those gaps are like about the same size as each other. You couldn't tell exactly how big they are, but like, what's the closest fantasy analog to this thing? The gaps are about as big as like, or as, so they're roughly circular-ish, and they're slightly smaller probably than a large dining table would be.
Interesting. Okay. Well, what do you guys think we ought to do? Should we make up camp and wait along its path that it looks like it takes, or do we want to continue to the forest and keep trying to hunt it?
Is there noticeable repeated tracks, as if we can at least tell the same species has at least gone through multiple times?
Oh yeah, well it looks like the vast majority of the tracks here, at least of the ones that are big enough to leave a noticeable imprint in the ground, they all seem to come from like either the same species of a small group or a single animal.
Okay.
Okay. What do you think would be safer? To wait for ambush or to track it down?
Is that directed at me or them? Because I'm not going to tell you
Directed
shit.
at the players.
I mean, if it's an ambush predator, which is what it looks like, it probably is. Following it seems like a terrible idea because that will give it the opportunity to lie in wait for us.
Will we ambush the ambusher? Reverse ambush?
Just play an Uno reverse card.
I don't think Uno exists in this world.
It's the
Well.
fantasy version.
I think maybe waiting for it to see if it'll come down a path might be the wisest decision.
Then ambushing will probably, yeah. Then I'm good with the
Let's
lying in wait.
Ambusher. We will surprise he who surprises.
Okay. And are you wanting to do that like now or a later time in the day?
Sorry, pause for 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, we're back.
No problem.
How fresh do the freshest tracks look? Like, how recent?
Yeah, good question. They seem about several hours old. It's not going to be that precise, sorry.
And what time of day is it about?
It's around noon.
Okay. So it seems like this creature might do its hunting in the night and morning. So we might want to wait until evening for it.
Alrighty.
Okay. Kind of wait for it to be groggy and just look and hungry and just getting up. That kind of
Yep.
thoughts. Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right. Yeah. Is there any dissent?
I'm good with that.
Cool. Well, in the meantime, so you've got several hours to kill. You'll probably want to eat. You've got a lot of food that you wouldn't need to cook or anything, although you could set up a fire if you really wanted to. And plenty of time to basically just talk. Anything else people have in mind to do?
I don't
Sorry,
want
if
to
you
set
can
up.
hear the tromboning.
I don't want to set up a fire purely so it doesn't scare away the creature.
Or alert it to our presence.
Exactly. No music, Bard.
Damn it.
No singing, nothing loud. You need to be quiet.
Put
how
the
many?
bagpipes away.
No.
I think that'll
No
scare more than
whistling.
just the creature away if the bagpipes get pulled out.
You can sit there and think
Uh,
quietly at the music.
Yeah. I was going to see if I could. I can't remember. I think clerics do prepare spells. Which I don't. I think it's enough time to prepare spells. Yeah. I'm good just to sit and wait.
It's really easy to read by putting the lower number.
That's right. You can also go like,
Oh. Wrong class.
oh darn, I dropped my dice.
Oh no.
Well, while we're sitting, I'm gonna sharpen a piece of wood with my boot knife.
Nice. Okay. So you're making a sharp stick. Is there a specific purpose for it?
Not that I know of yet. Maybe it
Who
might come in
knows?
handy
Okay.
later.
Fair. Fair.
And I'm just going to pretty much meditate, relax.
Okay. I will say if people want to spend a little bit of time looking around the forest even more for like more detailed stuff, evidence of whatever this thing is, you'll probably get a better idea of some kind of traits it has. My gosh.
At least make a. So I'm going to make a perception for any specific. Let's see. I guess, yeah, it'd be perception on any specific claw mark, maybe leftovers. Pretty much just seeing if there's any specific. So I'm specifically looking for maybe for claw marks to pretty much start seeing if there's potential claw marks,
Okay.
as well as maybe any leftovers that could maybe help determine diet along the trail.
Okay, so like claw marks, maybe food that's left behind and scat. Anything else?
Yeah. For essentially, I'm just trying to keep. I'm going to do a perception to look for pretty much any other traces that would help identify.
Okay.
Claw marks
Yeah, go ahead and roll
for
that.
leftovers. Oh, as it goes clear over my dice catcher. Oh, fantastic. And an 8.
An
Total.
8. Okay. Um, That won't get you a ton of detail, but you do see, let's see, you do see a couple of really clear claw marks that do confirm that it's a little bit like a reptile, but also a little bit like a bird. Man, I wanted to like bullshit exactly how many like toes it has, but that's not going to be useful to you guys at all. Let's see. So you also see, okay, because you're specifically looking for this kind of thing, you do see a couple of scat piles, and they appear to be like kicked over. So, sorry, not dirt has been kicked over them, is what I mean. So it's not like a fully buried situation. This isn't a cat, but there was some attempt to maybe mask the scent a little bit.
So it's not like a horse who just plop plops.
Yeah, yep, there you go. You also see something that's it's a little bit like scales, a little bit like feathers, and it's kind of silvery. And if you pick it up, it's like sort of stiff, almost hard. Like you can run your thumb along this thing, the like individual bits of it, and they'll give, but it takes a little bit of effort to make that happen.
Okay. So, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna take one of the scaly feathers and present it to. Is it bad that I already forgot his name? The Witcher.
Okay.
And see if he can deduce anything out of it.
I want to see if I can deduce anything out of it.
All right. What kind of role would that be? Because it could be a general nature thing, and it could also be something like rather more specific. I'm trying to think.
I think
You know what?
nature covers animal tracking,
Well,
or survival. It's either
yeah,
nature or
those
survival.
both kind of do. I want to see if there's something that's like far more specific to his studies because he is likely to have like read up on this thing. So I want to say make whatever intelligence-based role that you think A could apply to this, and B that you have some bonus in. As long
Cool.
as it's not religion.
Sounds good. Got a 13.
The only
13. Cool, thank you. Let's see. I am where you are. Hang on, I'm bringing up real world stuff.
one thing about 3.5, there was a scale for everything.
Yeah, I heard it was kind of bonkers almost.
Min-maxing was the thing.
There's some intense trombone action going on.
There really is. That would be my second of three brothers. He's very talented and also very annoying. Yeah, what's up?
That's what brothers are for, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I am going to climb a tree that is farthest away from the nearest tracks and do my very best to look inconspicuous.
Okay, are you hiding, or do you have a secret thing that you don't want to tell me about yet, or what's up?
Yeah, no, I'm hiding.
Okay.
Health check.
Basically, when the monster comes through, I don't want it to in there.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're hiding, so go ahead and make a stealth check. Do you have all your stuff on you, or like have you brought it all into the tree, or did you leave it somewhere?
I brought all my stuff up into the tree.
Okay.
+3, so 11.
Okay. Also, one quick follow-up question. How bright and loud is your stuff? And I asked because you're a bard.
Not super crazy. Like, I have costumes, like, in my pack, but the rest of it, I wear mostly muted stuff when I'm traveling because I've been attacked in the forest before.
Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. That won't incur any negative bonuses. So 11, you said?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you certainly believe that you are rather adequately hidden. And we will find out later if you were enough. Hang on 1 second while I check a thing.
How do you spell adequately?
Adequately.
Thank you.
You know what? Okay, Zakiah, remind me what roll you got. You got like a 14 or something? No, wait, that was Lisham's earlier.
I got 13.
Okay. All right, so that is going to be high enough with your expertise that you're actually going to be able to identify this thing because of a combination of the footprints that you saw and the scale that you have before you, scale feather thing. Just out of character, quick note, I tend to make some flavorful like departures from if I'm basing this off of a thing, so there will be differences, but nothing, well, I mean, but you'll still be able to count that knowledge. Anyway, this is very clearly a wyvern. Not a particularly large one, but like it's definitely bigger than you.
Well, looks like we're dealing with a wyvern here.
I've heard of wyvern. I actually like wyvern better.
I do too. That's how they pronounce it in like all the Witcher stuff, so that's how I've always pronounced it.
Good job. Okay, noted. Yeah,
All right.
so let me see. So I'm gonna actually, because of your Witcherness, you probably, well, actually, you tell me. How much do you think you would know about wyverns?
Wyverns are very basic creatures in Witcher lore, and Witchers are pretty well. They know a lot about wyverns because those are like the most troublesome creatures that are pretty frequent.
Okay, so would your knowledge of it specialize in its like everyday behavior and dietary habits, maybe mating habits, how it looks, what it's used for, if it has any useful application in medicine, potions, etc., or its combat abilities and tactics? Like what kind of stuff specifically?
Like, what would a Witcher know?
Yeah, and what would this specific Witcher know?
Um, they generally know like everything about those because when Witchers go through their witching school, they learn all that they can about monsters. So generally, where they reside, um, they know what it eats, they know how it attacks, and they know how to kill it. So,
All right, cool. In that case, I'm just going to start reading off some stuff. And this is for in character, only Zakiah would know this unless he shares it with the party. But I want the
Okay.
players to be able to know everything. I trust you guys not to metagame too hard, although I'm okay with it if it like makes for a cooler story, if that makes sense. So yeah, wyverns are known for living near settlements, and in fact, they're kind of like prized among druids who like to tame them. Wyverns like to attack from the air. They definitely, obviously, fly. Um, and one who's in a forest needs a way to get into the air. So it'll kind of try and bat its prey out of the sky if it's also airborne. Otherwise, it might like dive down and just basically try and knock it prone and then pounce, kind of. Um, it has this scary, sharp, toothy beak thing. Um, but that and that's definitely a thing to worry about, but it's actually like the stinger tail on the other side of this thing that is going to be an even bigger worry. That's going to have a poison thing in it, and so that will act, over an amount of time. Let's see. There are a couple different varieties of wyverns. With that roll, you wouldn't quite know which variety this is. But you can hope that because it appears to be about as big as two of you, that you could take it.
okay.
Let's
Well,
see. Sorry, I'm like literally just reading off of the Wikipedia thing and like translating that into mechanics in my head, and then also trying to read it off. I'm sorry.
it's all right.
Okay, one other thing to note. They're also wow. They're venomous from both ends. They can spit it. If they bite you, it might get into you. Although that's less common for some reason. And then obviously the tail. Yeah, that's probably the most that you that's gonna be relevant to you. Although we could talk behavior and that kind of thing all day.
All right. Okay. Well, now that I've identified what the creature is, I want to say to my companions, we need to find a clearing. This here is going to be a wyvern, and it's going to need somewhere to land and take off from and fight. We won't want to be in the clearing, but we'll want to be nearby the clearing.
So you're telling
All
me
right.
that I just climbed this tree
I mean, unless you
We're
can tree hop,
absolutely.
and not adept in tree maneuvers.
then I would get down and find a clearing.
Well, what if I just climb to the top and see if I can see a clearing from the top?
I guess that would work.
Okay, so I'm gonna climb to the top of the tree and see if I can spot a clearing. Do you want me to roll for anything, Peach?
You're climbing to the top of the tree and just spotting. Um, what do you mean by anything? Like something
Just like,
advantageous, something with the
well,
wyvern?
yeah, just like looking for a clearing that we can go find to wait for the wyvern.
Okay, well, okay, so the structure that you're actually in right now, and it sounds like you're at like the edge of the forest. So it goes forest, a stretch of like meadowy stuff, and then the big road, which is a decent distance away now. Um,
Hmm.
so there is like a big ass clearing like, right there.
Okay. Well,
Hey guys, there's a big ass clearing right there.
in that case, let's hide in the woods out of the clearing and wait for this thing. And then we can spring a trap on it.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, and is this trap gonna come in the form of your bodies going ha stab or like a thing that you're building?
So what I actually want to do is I want to put down one of my signs. I want to put down the sign of Yurden,
Mm-hmm.
and wait for uh, the wyvern to get caught in my sign.
Okay, remind me what that sign does.
So that sign temporarily immobilizes and can cause like slight physical damage. Not a lot, but like very slight. But it just temporarily immobilizes for like a couple minutes.
Okay, is that a thing that you need to have in a very specific place, or that you can move?
I have to put it in a very specific place. So I want to put it in the middle of the clearing, like in places where I feel like a wyvern would take off and land. So probably smack dab in the middle.
Oh, gotcha. You want to go for one of the like holes in the trees kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can totally do that. How big is that, out of curiosity?
So it's usually it goes on the ground actually. So it's just like a spell trap on the ground, and
Uh-huh.
it's usually about 8 feet across.
Okay. Yeah, you could estimate that that would just contain the wyvern. I mean, if you need to contain the whole body, you might have some issues if it only gets halfway in.
It.
But if you
I
just if
think
like
how
most of
the
it would work,
rune.
then you're fine.
Yeah. So how the rune actually works is it's kind of like a magic sigil placed on the ground, not like an actual
Yeah.
physical trap.
Yep.
So it's not gonna actually. It binds upon crossing the boundary like a magical trap, like
Yeah.
Okay,
exploding
so it
runes.
somehow has a sense of this is a hand attached to a human and now the whole human is trapped.
Well, yeah, pretty much what it is anything that is attached to whatever enters the boundary is
Okay.
temporarily immobilized.
Yeah.
So if it
Oh yeah.
if it stepped in it, it would be immobilized.
Cool. Then yeah, you
But
should
it-
be just fine to trap this thing as long as you can lure it into the clearing hole thing.
All right. So now that we have the trap,
So sorry, really quick. I climbed down out of my tree and picked a tree kind of closer to the edge of the clearing to rehide myself in.
Okay. I'll let you keep the same roll as you did before, unless you want to
Okay.
reroll. You'd just be
Nah.
taking the second one, whatever it was. Okay.
all right, and then Listram, do you have any capabilities of hunting anything that we might be able to put in this clearing to lure the wyvern here?
I do not have any trap spells, but I can blind or deafen it, or hit it with enfeeblement to weaken its attack.
Okay. But are you capable of getting like a dead animal here? So
Uh,
that way it'll be enticed to enter this area, eat the
so
animal.
essentially lay some bait.
Yeah, bait. To bait it.
I can always hit something with a spell to kill it.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, why not? May not be the best, but I'll do what I can. Anything will do. Anything specific, or just any meat?
Something of like medium size, not like a horse, but
But
more
a
like
small doe or
exactly
fox.
something of
All
that
right.
nature.
Okay, so I am going to roll a. It'd probably be a perception just to see if I can see anything around me,
Sure.
and that will be a. Probably more like a survival check, wouldn't it?
If you want to, either way works.
Okay. If all right, then perception total at 18.
Nice. Okay. Well, Lishram, with that, you can see enough to tell, actually rather disturbingly, that there's like nothing around here right now, at least not in the immediate area. The woods, and now you notice this, like there aren't even birds singing around here. It's rather quiet. You could definitely venture out, and because you can tell that there's been hunting happening here, or at least the results of it, that there's got to be animals somewhere. You could probably find something later, but it's going to take more than a simple, quick
There we go.
foray. So yeah, you're
For
going to
some
be
strange
gone
reason,
for
I
at
lost
least a couple of hours. Are you okay with that?
my character.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost all audio from you, so I only caught that last bit
Oh no,
of
sorry.
taking
Okay.
a few hours.
Yeah, basically the hunt would take a few hours to go out far enough and then find something and bring it back. Are you okay with taking that trip?
Okay. Let's see, and there's still plenty of daylight, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay.
only early afternoon.
All right, and I can go up to 60 feet with my sacred flame. And that'll be Dex save or take 1d8 damage. Target gains no benefits from cover for this saving throw.
That's nice.
So if I can see it, I can slap it with a sacred flame.
Cool, nice. All right.
Flame.
So
That should
then
at
I
least
guess
help the
Lishram's gonna
hunting a
be
bit.
right. Then Lishram's gonna be heading out. What do you want to bring with you, Lishram, and what do you want to leave in order to move faster?
Okay, so I'm actually going to be taking off my scale mail since it gives me a disadvantage on stealth checks.
Okay.
So that'll drop my AC
Stripping in the
pretty
middle
much
of a
to just
meadow.
Dex. So I leave behind my shield, scale mail, pretty much just bring a few, essentially torch, maybe some food just in case I get lost, and that's about it. So simple, light.
Okay.
The only, not even bringing, pretty much bringing a staff, a walking staff. That's about it.
Cool.
Staff,
Yeah.
food, torch.
Yeah, if you're traveling that light, then you can get out there pretty quick. Certainly like enough time to get there, hunt, bring it back, and also have time to help with any last minute preparations.
All right.
And it's still like not even sunset. Cool. So that's what you're gonna be traveling for a bit. And so while we're doing that, I'm actually gonna shift my attention to Zakaya. I'll also check on Aislinn in a bit. But I want to see, Zakaya, do you mind telling me, just in as much detail and flavor as you care to, like the process of setting up this trap?
It's actually quite simple. So all Witcher signs are it's done by basically a simplified form of natural existing magic that would normally need runes that you have to draw on something. That Witchers have adapted to where instead of runes, you make a hand sign that is for the spell that you are using essentially. And then once you make the hand sign and then put your hand where you want the spell to take place, that's where it goes. So if I want it in the middle of the clearing, I just go up to the middle of the clearing, do my hand sign, put my hand on the ground, and then boom, there's my trap.
Nice. Okay. Are there any issues, things I should know about how long this lasts, potential issues it could run into, anything that I could like impose a roll on or a save?
If something that's not intended to go in this trap goes in it, it could expose it. And then as for duration, I had it to where if we were in combat, it would immobilize it for 2 turns, essentially with like a saving throw that it would have to make that beats mine. But other than that, there's not too much about it. It does have a duration. It can generally only last if in one place for 6 hours.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Say it's about, for clock reasons, 2 p.m. right now. It would fade around 8 p.m. Is that right?
Yeah,
Unless you
that's
wanted
right.
to wait a couple hours.
That's
That's what I would
probably,
recommend just due to
yeah, that's
when
what I was gonna
it
do.
starts becoming dark. Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. So what time would you want to start setting that up?
I'd probably want to do it about 4:30 or 5 in the evening.
Okay. Cool. In the meantime, is there anything specific that you else that you want to do to prepare?
Um, I wanted to carve more sticks, and I do have a purpose with them now. So I just wanted to sit there and kind of just carve more sticks. And I
Okay,
want to
sure.
carve maybe about 10 of them, like not really small, but kind of like you can't quite wrap your hand around it kind of size, and maybe about from your elbow to your hand in length. I want to
Okay.
carve about 10 of those.
Perfect. 1 second, sorry. What is that called?
Stakes?
Okay. Anyway, sorry, I was talking to myself. Yeah, go ahead. You can carve those sticks. I'm gonna have you roll. Not this isn't like a success or failure thing. It's I want to see quality and like how long it takes, basically.
Okay.
So roll. Do you have? Okay, what's the nearest, like, to craftsmanship skill that you have?
I have, well, because I have survival, medicine, and history. I don't know.
Survival
Okay.
sounds best
Yeah.
when making something like that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Fair. Yeah, go ahead and do survival.
Wow, I did pretty bad. I had a 4.
Oh no. Okay, so you want to make about 10 of these sticks?
Yep.
All right, so with that roll, I haven't counted any of these as failures so far, by the way. It just kind of like reduces the amount of return, right? And that's why I haven't said mark experience for anything. This is also in that boat. It's just going to take you like pretty much the whole time. Well, okay, either it's going to take you the whole time until 4:30 to 5 to carve the 10 sticks, or you can get them done a little bit faster of pretty low quality. If you take your time, it's still not going to be great, but they'll do the job and they'll do it fine. The lower quality ones, it's like, okay, they're pointy. They're definitely not impressive, and it's possible that they'll break or not really work. So that's up to you.
No, I'm just
I want to take my time on them.
Okay, cool. So then the whole time of yours before you're actually setting up your trap is going to be spent carving sticks. And then by the end, you have a pile of sticks that's just kind of ready to go. And then after, so I'm actually going to go to Aislinn and then Lishroom, and then I'll come back to you to hear like exactly what you do for the trap in detail. But yeah, Aislinn, what have you been doing? And are you cramped up?
Currently she's making hot cocoa,
Oh, that's fun.
so it'll be.
If she's busy, then I can actually go to Lishroom instead.
Okay.
Yeah, Lishroom. So you've just been kind of stalking across the forest. Tell me, how familiar are you with this kind of biome?
completely new.
All
So
right, so this is a lot of new.
Pretty much. Essentially, any experience I have in survival is just any book studies, and that's about it. So it's a completely new
Okay, so
experience,
like
and
never been
only
camping in your life?
pretty much. That's kind of what happens when you live under a rock, quite literally.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so you're hearing a whole
So
bunch of. Well, actually, you have no idea if this like quiet, if this level of sound or lack thereof is normal. You do hear your own feet are kind of like the only thing that keeps you consistent company, but like every little sound that you do hear, every leaf that like makes a little whir, it kind of gets a little bit amplified. Just because everything else is so
yeah,
quiet and it's
and
very spooky.
yeah. So pretty much any sound I hear that out there, I essentially at least look at and see if it's any medium critter, and then if not, I'll just kind of push on. Again, maybe the size of like a fox, doe is what I'm looking for.
Cool.
So purely, pretty much sound, look, and pretty much just feel. I have
Yeah.
no specific technique.
Okay, so since you're looking for a specific hunting thing, I'm gonna have you roll survival.
And that is 18 plus 3, 21.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, so after a while of patience and looking for things, but you don't really know exactly what you're doing, you do spot an animal over in not too far distance, but definitely far enough that it probably hasn't noticed you yet. And this one is actually going to be, because this is Fantasyland and biomes don't matter, and it's all made up, it's a moose.
A moose?
You see a
Like,
moose.
how big moose?
Like a moose-sized moose.
Then I will pass up on moose-sized moose. Too big and not worth the effort.
Alright. You skip the moose. You refuse the moose. You refuse the moose. Anyway, okay. So you pass up on like the biggest catch of the season and keep moving along.
Because it's larger than medium, and I'm just gonna roll a quick nature check. 2 plus, I think 1 pretty much
Remember, kid,
says
sometimes
total
a success
3.
is actually not what you want.
So
Or too much of
total, yeah, total is 3, and yeah. So essentially, with that, I'm just gonna say it's too large for what I'm looking for, and would be a pain to drag back myself. So skip
That's
on
valid.
that because of that.
it.
Just to
Okay.
kind of skip on metagaming because moves be vicious.
Yep, they absolutely can. Cool. So give me another roll. You've already guaranteed success of finding something, but I want flavor.
Okay. Another roll. And that is on survival 17 total.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So, next time around, it's probably half an hour later. You stumble on a stag, and it's a pretty young one, so its antlers have not come in yet. I mean, like they're starting to, but it's bigger than a doe, but only slightly, and it's just kind of
Okay.
doing its grazing thing.
Okay. So, just hope I can down it with a single spell. Okay, so I'm going to cast Sacred Flame, 60 feet range. It does have a focal component,
Okay.
so
Yeah, that could. All right.
so it's going to pretty much be the bare minimum, pretty much a bit of a whisper, or a bit above a whisper to cast it. So, and then that'll be a dex save
Okay.
on the deer.
Yeah, before I roll that, you've also, due to just having a lot of quiet time, you have had tons of time to reflect and think about things, which means that I'm saying this is translating to because you've had so much time to potentially prepare like a plan B. I want to give you a second to see if you have anything else that might work in case this doesn't.
Okay. I was kind of stupid and didn't bring a weapon, but do I have any other spell per se that would work? What does Toll the Dead?
Oh, that's a fun one.
I think that just does bonus damage if they've already taken. Okay, so it is also 60 feet vocal, and yeah, if it's just missing any hit points, it's going to deal additional necrotic damage, a d12 instead of a d8.
Nice. Do you want to do that
with
instead, or as like plan B, or what?
Plan B, essentially, if it doesn't die from Sacred Flame, it takes 1 action to cast Toll the Dead, 60 feet. So hopefully it doesn't sprint far enough within an action for me to essentially cast Toll the Dead, as I don't have any other secondary other than hit it with another spell.
Right. Okay.
So,
All right. Let's
so
see.
Sacred Flame, if it don't drop, Toll the Dead.
Cool. Noted. I'm rolling. What's your spell save DC?
Okay. That's right. My
It's going to
spell
be
save
8 plus
DC
your
is a
whiz plus proficiency,
13.
I believe.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
that's
13
right.
total
Okay.
for DC.
Can you? No. No. Can you?
Is he doing a thing?
I took the smallest of.
Go pick them up.
That was
He's not supposed to have things like Coco.
Oh, why?
Why did you take my knife?
I can't find mine.
He's having stomach tissues. And he's having to go on a pretty strict diet. So
that
he took a
is
sip
sad.
of my cocoa and I knocked over his.
Okay. Well, I am so sorry for your loss of good food ability, I guess. Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt your
that is okay.
hunting.
All right, so 13 is the save DC, right?
Yes.
And this is what stat?
Dexterity, sadly.
Okay, well, the deer got a 15 to save.
Okay.
I was just waiting for it.
But it did notice the bright flash of the sacred flame. And is that centered around it on a specific part on the deer or what?
So, flame-like radiance descends on a deer that you can see within range. So I'd
That's a
almost
very
say
specific
like
description. Just kidding.
So pretty
Sacred
much it would
deer.
be
It's called fuck you, deer.
pretty much almost like rays of light penetrating or coming from above.
Okay, alright. Yeah, I'm imagining like a very
So
biblical image, I guess, of like which one was that? Shoot. I know who I'm thinking of, but I don't remember his name. The one where they like dumped a bunch of water in a trough and then one of them called down fire and it worked and the other one it didn't work. That's all I'm thinking of. There were these very specific VHS Mormon tapes that I grew up watching over and over and over because it was the only thing you could watch on Sundays. So, anyway, sorry.
So essentially how I would describe it is bright lights appear from above the deer, but the deer notices said lights and get out of the way before they descend. Because they're kind of like bright, radiant white flames.
Yeah,
So,
that tracks.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, so the deer sees the stuff, it's like, oh no, and bolts. And this guy, I mean, if we were in initiative, I didn't have you roll because it didn't really matter. But it would be taking the dash action, and let's see what your speed is. 50 feet, so yeah, it's off. It's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, the deer will, I mean, it sprints fast, but they don't tend to go super far at that speed, especially. So if you want, you could try and hunt that guy down again. It would be pretty easy. Or you could try and find something else.
I snap my fingers and decide to pursue it.
All right, the hunt is on.
Being not the most familiar with hunting, I'm pretty much going to dash at it.
Oh no!
Base speed.
So you got
25.
the tall, graceful deer that's just like wee wee wee, and then the short, stubby dwarf that's just waddling after it.
Yes. And if there's any moment, and I'm essentially going to prepare Toll the Dead, now that I know it's flight of foot. Toll of Dead is a wisdom save, so I'm going to use that if it ever gets within 6 feet. So.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna leave you for now. Just chasing after this deer.
Yeah. Yes. Through the woods as I'm sitting there just trying. Yeah. It probably looks
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna leave you there for now, and then I'll come back in a second after I check in on Aislinn. Aislinn, what have you been doing? Are you very cramped up, or have you been changing position, or have you gotten out of the tree? It's several hours before you have to do the thing.
I'm kind of just like wiggling back and forth, humming really quietly to myself. I can't.
I have this image that like this would be the perfect time to have a sad jail harmonica song, but you can't, and that's tragic.
So I'm basically sitting there going, stop that, that's not me. I'm basically sitting there going,
Is that the Duloc song?
100%.
Amazing. Okay.
But then yeah, my legs do start to cramp up, so I just kind of like hop down and go over and sit next to Zakaya while he's sharpening sticks, and just kind of like fiddle with grass and twigs and pout because I can't play music. And I'm bored.
Okay. Yes, that is very sad.
And I'm the one having all the excitement right now.
Yes, I do want to prompt a bit of conversation due to what Broccoli said earlier. She suggested, like, that if you can bring this thing that you now know is Wyvern back alive. I assume Zakai has told the rest of the party? At least that? Or have you not?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
That you have that extra reward, but he also knows of the decent threat it is. I'm gonna say, Zakaya, because of your expertise in this, you could gauge it, and I'm gonna just tell you this challenge rating is actually somewhere around 5. So it's pretty decent, especially because you're a party of 3, and this is the game is built for parties of 4 or 5 to defeat a challenge rating of the same number as their level. So this is going to be a challenge, right? So do you guys want to discuss like the possibility of, do you want to just strike it down or try and knock it out or anything like that?
Well, I think we should just kill it because it's not going to be an easy fight. And trying to drag this alive by its tail is not going to be easy.
I mean, I was kind of for the whole killing it anyway, because I didn't really feel like trying to haul a live monster back into a village of people, especially a village of people that sent us out here to kill it.
I agree.
I mean, I feel like it would be looked upon unfavorably if we just walked to town with this monster that they've spent so much time avoiding and trying to keep from getting into the town. And if we just like take it there.
Yeah, we should definitely.
Nope.
I'm all for killing this monster.
Only for humanoids.
That means if Lee Shroom is in it, then he's SOL.
Especially since he's too far away to hear us.
Yes, and he's outvoted anyway.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, that sounds pretty definite. So with that, unless you have anything else that you want to say, I'm going to move back to Listrom, who by now has conveniently caught up to the deer. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
The deer is about 100 feet out of range, so it would take you either 1 action of dashing or 2 or 3 turn of dashing, if this was initiative. To get in range to put your spell on it again. What do you do?
Do I at least has it at least stopped as I'm approaching? Or
Yeah,
least
at this point it's looking around. It's still pretty wary. So hopefully you're at least making some attempt to hide.
So yeah,
the deer
as soon as I
is-
notice that it's at least stopped, I dive to the ground and then just kind of hold still for a moment. And then once it seems like it's at least not looking at me, I'm going to pretty much sneak the extra 40 feet to get to it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, roll me stealth real quick. With a
This is gonna be
-1 because
fun
you're
part.
inexperienced with this.
Oh, no. First nat 1!
All right, well, for this one, I'm going to say mark experience. All right. Yeah.
Why do you let the mage go on the hunting expedition?
That was maybe the first mistake. Yeah, so you kind of belly flop onto the ground and try and like crawl there, and you forget that like leaves and pine needles and all sorts of stuff is below you, and so it goes crunch, 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 and the deer is like, oh no, and it's off even faster and farther than before. I mean, if you really wanted to follow it, you could, but you probably could not make it back in time to even like it would be night by the time you made it back if you went that far. You could also try for finding some other animal, or and you'd cut it pretty close. Or if you went back now empty-handed, then you could still definitely make it back in time to help, just not with an animal.
So I sigh deeply, get up,
Roll to
and we'll at
sigh.
least look for something on the way back.
Okay. All right. Give me one last roll.
All right, and that is a survival of 13.
Okay. With that, I'm going to give you a consolation prize of a particularly large and fat rabbit. And you don't have to make any additional rolls to hunt it. You're just going to get that. So you do have a rabbit. It's not huge, but it might be enough as long as you spread the blood around to lure the wyvern in.
Yes. So, and just to kind of make it a bit more interesting, from all the experience I had from just one little hunt, I take it precautiously, using Toll of the Dead since these things are flight of foot. Toll of the Dead, point at one creature you can see within range. Sound of a glorious spell fills the air around it for a moment. It must succeed a wisdom save or take 1d8 necrotic damage. If it's already taken damage, 1d12. So pretty
Is
much the
this
last thing
for,
to think here is
Okay.
my Toll the Dead spell cantrip. So
Okay.
pretty much the last thing that fat little rabbit hears is its
Bing,
own
bonk.
yeah, pretty much
It's
its
the
own
Notre
funeral
Dame.
bells.
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
There you go.
The Notre Dame.
Well, that is quite a dramatic end for such a little creature. And, it will have some fun stories to tell in Bunny Hill. So, cool.
What's
Oh, yeah, this is a bad one.
What's the last thing you've seen? Well, the last thing I heard was a Notre Dame. What's Notre Dame?
I have no idea. Yeah. All right, so yeah, you do have your rabbit. It does look a little bit black around the ear tips due to the necrotic damage that it took. But otherwise, it's totally fine. Prepared for consumption. Yeah. Also, because you went out, I'm very proud of you, Lishram. You went out and did something brand new, totally out of your wheelhouse. I'm gonna give you either a choice of another experience point, or you can add +1 to a relevant skill. And that could be really any of them that you could feasibly attach to survival nature, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna say survival, since that feels the most appropriate.
Yeah, so you can add a
I
+1
have
to that. You have learned that you can't survive very well if you are very loud to your prey. Okay. With that, I assume you're just kind of carrying the rabbit back. Do you have anything exciting that you want to do that's worth mentioning, or should I just go back to Zakaya and Aislinn as you're kind of catching up to them? I think the silence tells me the latter. So yeah, Zakaya and Aislinn, what are you show me the middle of a scene conversation as Lisham is coming back.
So, I mean,
It's
you
evening.
see why it is so confusing to me that we're just waiting here for it instead of,
There we go.
packing our bags and walking away and waiting for it to get stuck before coming back. And I mean, it could just stay stuck here all night, right? Why sitting here so close to it? I mean, what if it comes for us instead of the trap?
It's not gonna be stuck here forever is the thing. Only a few minutes. We have a small window where we can jump on it.
Well, it sounds to me like you need to up your spell game.
And it sounds to me like you need to update your shut up game.
I have never shut up in my entire life, and I dare you to try to make me.
I can do that. And I wave my knife in her general direction.
Don't
I
wave
lost
your
audio.
knife at
Am I
me.
at least back to hear all this?
Yes, that's why this
You
is
are
happening.
just walking out of the
Okay, yeah, I
forest,
lost
or
audio as soon as I got that skill point for some stupid reason.
Oh no.
Um,
Well,
but,
that's okay.
yeah,
It kind of
Discord
simulates.
is being a pain in the.
I'm sorry.
So I
Discord is
walk in.
fucky.
Yeah. All right. So I pretty
Yeah.
much walk in on all this, and I'm like, I sigh because I had an adventure, and now I come back to two children arguing.
I'm probably
And I'm
older
like-
than you.
If you're human, I doubt that.
He's not.
How old are you?
Did I even put an age? I'd say young adult dwarf, which I think is around the 80s. I think.
Yeah. I'm 103.
Ah, well.
Old man.
You definitely don't sound 103 to me. Out of character.
Well,
It's like, what if I were to blind it? I doubt it would take off if it was blinded.
I don't think it would try to take off, but that could definitely give us an advantage to my plan that I have here.
And where do I fit into this plan? Can I go back up my feet?
No, see that you were part of my plan. It looks like our friend came back with a dead rabbit, dripping with blood. My plan was going to use you as bait.
You're gonna fucking what?
Yeah, you're the bait.
So
I
what's
look
the
into
dead
the
rabbit
camera
for?
like it's the office.
So what's the dead rabbit for? Then?
Great.
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna drench our bard companion here in the rabbit's blood and have her stand or lay fairly close to the trap.
Would the rabbit suffice?
No, it's not big enough. It's not big enough prey for our wyvern friend.
What if I get stuck in the trap?
I will draw a circle around the trap. Don't go within that circle. And I do just that. I draw a circle around the trap with big arrows pointing, don't go here unless you're a wyvern. Wyverns only.
Cute.
And unsafe.
Trust me, I'm a professional. I get paid to do this.
Yes, but
Technically, we're all being paid to do this.
traveling around with a constant companion that hasn't died.
Well, what are you gonna do? Sing it to death?
I just might.
God, you're gonna do that to me one of these days. But it'll be due to self-inflicted death.
You can't see me, but I'm sassy.
Cute.
So
Fine, but I'm taking
If-
off my nice jacket,
Good.
which I
Cool.
do,
It sounds
and
like
I
you've
tuck
got
it
this
into my
pretty
bag.
resolved. Okay.
I tuck my nice jacket into my bag and tuck my bag, hopefully somewhere safe, behind a tree, several trees out of range.
Okay.
And then
Great.
at
Yeah.
this point,
And I
I'm-
assume you're actually agreeing to do this, right, Aislinn?
Unfortunately.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, Zakaya, continue.
so then what I'm going to do now is I've probably finished my sticks as it has been several hours since Lesherim left. I'm going to take the rabbit from Lesherim and instruct the bard to lay on the ground.
The bird.
So, how big is the clearing, or at least how big is the radius of the clearing? So, how far away from the center?
So the whole clearing is, Okay, so in human Earth terms, it's going to be something like 9-10 feet across. It's not that big.
Okay.
Which
Just
kind
making
of
sure I
yeah.
very much making sure I
So
can
it sounds
cast
like
within 30 feet of the trap.
gotcha. Well, I
Well,
mean, as
just
long as
from the
you're
edge.
near the edge of it, yeah, you should be well within that. Also, I'm gonna revise that to like 12 feet around. And Zakaya, you said that the trap is like 8 feet across, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got about 2 feet of clearance between the edge of the trees, like basically, before you're in light, and the edge of the trap.
Cool. So now with Hazelin laying on the ground and me holding the rabbit, I'm going to use my same knife to cut it open and get blood all over my hands and then just start wiping the blood all over her.
Ew. Oh.
Yeah,
And I'm just sitting there watching and blinking, just as if
It's like, welcome to the toilet room.
pretty much unfazed, but wondering if there could have been a better option.
So why did it like you or Lisher do this? Because if the wyvern actually gets one of you, you might actually.
well, the thing is if the wyvern gets you, me and the Lishram are able to spring on it and kill it.
When am I allowed to move? What if it lands on me instead of in the circle?
You should be fine.
I swear, if this kills me, Zakaya, I am coming back from the dead to haunt you, and you will never get me to shut up.
I feel like you'll just always stand behind me and play the "We Are Number One" theme song.
Actually, I'll sing narwhals.
No. No. Anyways, so I guess at this point she is now sufficiently covered rabbit blood, and I made a nice spot for her to lay without being in the trap.
Aw, that's very, very nice. Great. Sounds like you're all prepped. Any last minute things that you want to do?
Cry.
I'm
I
gonna
wanna-
make sure to put my shield and chain and scale mail back on, but have
Fair.
it underneath my travel robe so that way it doesn't glitter, and it'll only just produce noise when moving in it.
Okay.
And
I want
then,
to take. Oh, go ahead.
and then pretty much just wait in the designated spot. With
Great.
and I will prepare my blindness deafness spell to be cast when I am given a signal, which I tell Zakea. I don't know if I'll ever be able to pronounce that rightly. To just give me a signal when to cast.
Cool. And I'm gonna take about 4 of those sticks and just shove them in my pants, so I have them readily available.
Is that 4 sticks in your pants, or are you just happy to see the wyvern?
I have 4 sticks in my pants, and they're happy to see the wyvern.
I think you should have that look. You should have that look.
Maybe he's an echidna. I don't judge. Great. Well, yeah, with everything prepped, you guys are just here to wait for activity and for nightfall to for the sun to go down. So with this, I need to take a quick potty break. So I think we should call a 10-minute break and then meet right back at 10 after. Sound okay?
Yes.
Works for me.
Works for me.
Cool. And Whitney, are we still okay if we have like 90 minutes to 2 hours to finish everything?
That is very late, and I need to shower before.
Oh, that's right. It's almost 8 for you. Sorry, I misread what my clock was. Okay, so we need 1 hour for this. And hopefully a little bit less, right?
Or if you want, we can pause here and then pick it up next week.
If you want to. I could resolve the combat pretty fast. And then just do wrap up. I mean, it would probably take about 30 minutes between everything if you think you can afford that. If you would rather go now, then yes, we can pick it up next week.
I'd kind of, in my opinion, I would prefer more like intricacies in the fight and not like making it feel
A
rushed.
rushed one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of
Yeah.
same. I'd rather be
Especially
able to like have a even if it's like a little bit of a shorter session and have a quality interaction, than like try to rush it because I have to go to sleep early.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. All right, that sounds good. Then we can just drop it here. Any last
Alright.
things that you guys want to say before we call it?
If we want to try to start meeting on Saturday nights, or maybe, well, no, Friday night. But I don't have to get up early on Sunday morning. So if we want to try to start meeting on Saturday nights, we can look at that as an option.
Okay, cool.
Because literally
yeah,
the
I
only
think I
reason
have
I have to,
available.
yeah, I was gonna
Sorry,
say
go on.
literally the only reason I have to leave early is because I work on Mondays, and I
Right.
know that tomorrow is gonna be a long day. So
Oh, I see. Oof, that does not sound fun. Good luck.
yeah.
so
we go to
are you
church.
saying doing Saturday instead of Sunday, or if Sunday doesn't work, Saturday would be better, or doing both Sunday and Saturday?
It sounds like Saturday is plan A, and if for some reason it doesn't pan out, then go to Sunday.
Yeah.
We do church on Saturday nights now, but church gets out like 7:30 our time. So as long as you
Okay.
guys are good going late, I'm okay to go late on Saturday nights. Like I don't have to go to bed on Saturday nights.
Yeah, I could do
good
that.
pretty much up to midnight my time, or even past that, since most of the time I have nothing specific plans. Saturdays will also work.
Okay. Although for next week, where it's the 4th of July, let's plan on doing Sunday night anyway, because I will not be able, depending on how they do things in my neighborhood, focus on a game while there's fireworks going.
We've got fireworks
Okay.
already going
Yeah,
now.
that sounds good. So next Sunday at 6 Mountain Time again? Is that okay?
Yep, that should work.
And then after
Alright.
that, Saturdays, if that's cool.
Yeah, that sounds good. Cool. Thank you.
Okie dokie.
Sweet. Well, if you have notes again, you can either upload those now in the same channel or next week when we pick up. And you'll, same deal. Other than that, I think we're good.
Mine is a link. I'm just going to. I've got them, as you noticed, marked as session 1, session 2.
Cool.
And we'll just do that. So pretty much just click on the link, check if there's a post for a session. If not, then that's that.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Also, I can check, but I also trust you to say, if you took notes, then you can add your experience point.
Yeah.
If you didn't, then that you won't.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm totally fine doing honor system as well. Dang it, I had one last thing. Oh yeah, Lishroom. At the end of this, I guess, arc, this mini thing, I'll follow up on how you want to deliver your report, I guess. But yeah, that just hasn't come up as relevant yet. Cool.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I think that's everything. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a good week.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a difficult person that has to leave early. Bad.
It's okay.
But yeah, once we start doing Saturdays, I'll be able to play later.
Cool. That's good to know. Thanks. Hope you have a good night and a good day at work as well.
You too. Hey, PH, do you know what your timeline for moving back to Utah is? Is that still a thing that you're doing?
It is, yeah. Since classes start on, the 24th? I'm going to be there early to mid-August. I'm still pinning down the exact day, but I'm probably going to be flying back and just kind of setting up. I have a possible permanent situation and a possible temporary one set up. So it's kind of up in the air, but I do know I'm going to be back early to mid-August.
Okie dokie, sounds good.
By the way, speaking of classes, does it sound weird if USU is starting August 31st?
That sounds a little bit later than I would expect, but not like
Yeah.
to the point of being what? Yeah.
They're also,
I
from what I
think
understand, removing fall break and then just switching to online classes after Thanksgiving, which I'll still be staying up in Logan simply due to the fact that I still can work up there as a custodian.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that the U might be doing something weird with fall break too, but I don't know exactly what.
Yes.
I think fall break is not happening, and then classes will just be decided whether face-to-face or broadcast-based or just online.
Mhm.
And then after Thanksgiving, since they want to make sure people are able to leave and not worry about coming back due to COVID,
Mhm.
all classes will be online after Thanksgiving break.
I'm peacing out, so I'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good week.
Okay, have a good
Right.
one. Bye.
Have a safe 4th.
You too.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, I'm actually going camping this week, but I think I'll be back before the 4th. At least that's the plan.
Cypress has a vet appointment on Tuesday, so I'm not doing anything.
Nice.
I
Good
don't
luck.
think anything's planned, so on my end, so I should be free for the weekend as well.
Yep, I'll be back for the weekend, so. Oh, PJ,
Cool.
are you familiar, Bryson, you probably know, but are you guys familiar with the game Cyberpunk 2077?
Oh yes, I am so hyped for that.
So, I today managed a special edition Xbox One X of Cyberpunk 2077.
Wow, that's really
Ooh.
cool.
Yeah,
You'll have
it's
to
super
tell me how
cool.
that is.
It's real neat, and it comes with a copy of the game. So the game comes out in November now. I'll have it all ready to go.
He's been trying to get
Nice.
hold of this for months.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
I am off as well.
Nice.
Night, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Phone.